Hi Scorpio, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the website addressed below. And before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's have a look. See, before we go into it, your key to the week card is the Chariot card. Now, this is a card that tends to speed things up. So this could be a very fast week for you. It could be a very quick week. You might find as well that this week presents you with some sort of a challenge. Now, we are just off the back of an eclipse in the sign of Cancer. Now, although this is a trine energy to you, for everybody in some way, shape or form, it's going to be an intense week because we're off the back of that. Whenever we get a solar eclipse, right, it usually tends to be more outwardly manifesting. And on top of that, it was at 0 degrees of a sign, right, of a cardinal sign. So this means we are going to see some real world results from this and fairly quick. So hang on to your seat this week, my dear Scorpios. For your actions and options this week, you have the 8 of Cups, right? So this is very much about you deciding what no longer serves you. It could be as well, what I'm hearing as well for a lot of you, this is about planning some sort of an exit strategy. So this could be for a job. It could be an exit strategy from a certain arena that you're done with working in. It does look like a lot of you, this is going to be very fast. This isn't something that you're, so at the time that I'm posting this, we are halfway through the week previous to the week that I'm reading for, right? So when you're watching this, the chances are you might think to yourself, I'm not sure if that's for me just at the moment yet, Raf. And that's why I say the chances are this could be something that happens very quickly. You might decide to go in a completely different direction, and it may be in response to something that you learn, something that you hear, or maybe something that is offered to you. It doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to be, change is always challenging, especially to the fixed signs, and you are a fixed water. So even though you're a water sign, you know, moving and flowing, you are still fixed water. Now the thing is, when I see when I think of Scorpio, when I think of fixed water, I think of ice, right? That ability to hold something, hold a specific shape. And it does feel like this week there's going to be some sort of event, knowledge, information that comes to light that makes you say, wow, you know what, I'm just going to go in a different direction. This isn't something that's happening immediately now. This is about you saying to yourself, this week I'm going to start to build what feels like an exit strategy. So whether this is getting out of the current job, maybe it's moving out of your current area, maybe it is deciding, because you would be, so 4 and then 4 again. So Cancer is your 8th house, especially if you're a sun sign Scorpio. This would be your 8th house, right, that eclipse has taken place in. So this could come up from the deep. It might be something that you've been thinking about for a long time. For your communications and conversations, you have the 6 of Swords. So you could literally be having conversations about some sort of travel that's coming up for you. Maybe for some of you, this looks like a spontaneous trip that you may need to take. It might come up very suddenly for you. For a lot of you that live in, this is one of the things that I always get a bit confuzzled on, because I kind of forget that the UK is a really small country. So for us, like when we talk about, long distance travel is pretty much always, across the seas or over, abroad somewhere. Whereas when you think about countries like Canada, America, Australia, even India or the continent of Africa, these are very big places. So sometimes it can just be that you're going from one end of that country to the other, and that would constitute, a long distance journey. But it does look like this week, for a lot of you, some sort of spontaneous need to travel or need to be at a distance or to go somewhere else. You might be changing your plans very quickly this week. So my advice is just to be flexible this week. Just really try to be flexible, because it kind of feels like you might be getting some sort of news from a distance, or possibly from overseas, that might see you needing to move very quickly. All right, for your money and materials, you have the Strength card, which represents Leo. So your money looks good. It does look like a lot of you, again, right? So you've got these 2 8s. It does look like, so when it comes to your finances, right, this is about you looking at what you really need. So, you know, what is a want versus what is a need. And if you're planning an exit strategy from a job, maybe you're saying to yourself, right, well, in 6 months time, I'll be able to save enough to support myself for a whole year while I figure out what else it is that I want to do, or while I figure out where else it is that I might want to live. So financially, this is about you getting to the heart of the matter and saying to yourself, right, what are my needs? What are my wants? How can I cater for those if I'm not working or if I'm not employed by somebody else? I'll give you an example, like, because for me, well, I remember leaving my full-time job, and I remember thinking to myself, like, oh my gosh, you know, this is it, sink or swim, like it's either going to work or it's not going to work. And there were some months that were really scary, that, you know, I wasn't sure if I was going to make you know, if I was going to make enough money, or all of the rest of it. I've done all of it. Trust me when I tell you, I know what that journey is like. But it looks like, and Scorpio loves security, right? So you guys very rarely jump without sort of looking where it is that you leap. So it looks like, for me, again, it looks like you're planning some sort of exit strategy. The other thing is as well, you've got these 2 8s, because the Strength card is number 8. 2 8s in the Tower is about new knowledge. So you remember I said to you, there's something coming up this week that you're not aware of. So at the time that you're watching this, you probably don't have this information yet. It's only going to come to light as we cross the threshold into this week. So keep your eyes peeled from around the 21st onward, all right? With that said, your health looks good. It looks like you're paying a lot of attention to your heart, maybe to some of you for your cholesterol. Maybe you're thinking about, you know, if I can't work out in a gym, then what am I going to do? What am I building in as a daily sort of practice that I can look after myself with? For your home, again, you know, it just looks like there's some sort of change on the home front, but it does look like it's a very prosperous time for the home. So I'm seeing good things there, and I actually feel like you're opening up in many ways. And then for your love and relations, you've got the King of Pentacles, which is really nice. So for those of you that are single, it looks like you are aligning with somebody that's very steady, somebody that is very well-rounded and also well turned out. This is somebody that really has their head on their shoulders, and also someone that has a real what's the word, a real sense of doing the right thing. You know, this is somebody that's really very dutiful, which I really like. Usually a Taurus, Capricorn or a Virgo, because it's the King of Pentacles, but the Crone card is there as well. So this could be somebody that has you know, maybe some fire energy, maybe a very earthy sort of fire energy. The Strength card represents Leo, so that's one thing to consider. For those of you that are partnered, it looks like you and your partner are maybe building some sort of joint exit strategy. Maybe you guys are trying to figure out, right, how do we emancipate ourselves from the system? How do we go off in a different direction? What is it that we are needing to do in order to get, you know, in order to be more independent, you know, more independent from the structure that we live in or from the society that we live in. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean you're joining a community and becoming a hippie. You know, it just means that you are trying to be more conscious about the way that you show up in the world. Not necessarily a bad thing. And remember, the other thing with the King of Pentacles, it's an elevation in practical status in some respect, which is really exciting, because for those of you that are single, this could see you aligning with someone. Now, because it is the Six of Swords and the Eight of Cups in close proximity, I wonder if this could be something that's possibly clandestine, just something for you to be aware of. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up, if it's not too personal. With that said, take care, and I'll see you soon.